Well, let's return to the news that a woman suspected of working on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party has been attempting to improperly influence Parliament, and this has been revealed by the Speaker of the House of Commons. In a letter, Lindsay Hoyle said MI5 had found that the woman had been engaged in political interference activities. Iain Duncan Smith has expressed concern about this, and he is with my colleague, our political correspondent, Nick Eardley now. Nick.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Anita. I mean, this story and this alert from MI5 has caused quite a lot of shock around Parliament, actually, the extent of what's been alleged. And as you say, I'm with Iain Duncan Smith, the former Conservative leader and minister, who is one of those who I think it's fair to say has been most critical of Chinese influence in the UK. How worried are you by what we've heard today?
I'm very, very worried. I'm one of those MPs here who's been sanctioned by the Chinese government, could possibly be arrested on a red notice in a country that has extradition arrangements. So there's a lot going on here for us. We also have been working with democracy campaigners who've had to flee Hong Kong. Many have gone into arrest. Those who have come over here, families at risk. That sort of information kicking around in my office and my colleagues' offices. And we now discover there's an individual who's an agent of the Chinese government, has been working their way around Parliament, could have got access to my office when I'm out, I don't know, and is also busy paying money in to persuade people to become supporters of this brutal regime. It is a brutal regime. It is guilty of genocide, of forced labor, you know, of smashing the Christians and threatening the Taiwanese. I mean, this is a threatening government. And here, it's taken years for apparently, and we didn't know anything about this. Why wasn't this actioned on? And then they've got access, apparently, given money to the Labour Party, lots of money to Harry Gardner's office, got access to David Cameron, Theresa May. Why weren't they warned about this? And I gather she gave him an award, this woman award. So I just don't know what's going on here, but we need to know, and I think the government should make a statement here, and we need to open this up and say, what in heaven's name are our security forces doing?
What do you want the government to do? Clearly, there is a lot of concern in Parliament about this. Clearly, something appears to have gone badly wrong, that this was allowed to happen for so long. What has the government failed to do, and what should it be doing now?
Well, speed. Apparently the Times ran this story, and I remember it in 2017. So hang on, if they were looking at this stuff way back in 2017, how is it this individual gets access to members of government, senior members of government, prime ministers? How is it that this organisation can seek to subvert a political party by giving them donations? And how is it they, what is it, £500,000-600,000 going through the office of an MP here and putting a member of staff in here? All of this stuff, if it was a concern, why, oh why, is that still going on to today? Literally this morning is the first we know about this. And we need to look at our clearance systems here, because how is this individual cleared without anyone going, no, they shouldn't be in here because of the track record? And this money hidden through accounts in Hong Kong, where all these alarm bells should be going off. We need to open this up completely and ask ourselves the question, how can we do this? I'm a Privy Councillor. Plenty of briefings I've had from government ministers, which is not in the public domain because I was in government at some point. So those sort of things are kicking around Parliament. So this is really dangerous, subverting British politicians and seeking information.
Does it raise wider questions about lobbying in UK politics and whether it's properly regulated?
Well, it's certainly banned. You're not allowed to lobby as a member of Parliament, but there is this whole issue of what they call the all-party parliamentary groups, which are not of Parliament but sit in Parliament. They are definitely what I would call the soft underbelly of this, and I think this is one of the ways in. So there are lots of things we need to look at in Parliament about security. We can't lock up, but we have to be worried about access like that. But this is on a level even above just what I would call lobbying. This has security implications. It has lives at risk, you know, information about people fleeing. I mean, these people, their families. This is really serious. We don't play this down. I'm not running scare stories. I am genuinely concerned and shocked that this has been allowed to happen. We need to understand why, and we need to do something about it. But we also have to recognize that the Chinese government poses a clear and present danger to us, and stop messing around, pretending somehow we can be on the one hand bosom buddy friends and at the other hand worry about them. They are a threat. We have to deal with them on that basis.
The other big story in Parliament this week has obviously been the Prime Minister's position. You helped him run his campaign to be Prime Minister. You've known him for a long time. Do you think he is in trouble at the moment, and that more MPs, once they go back this weekend and they hear what constituents think, may call for him to go?
Well, there's no question. We know what constituents think already, which is they're very angry, quite legitimately angry. This shouldn't have been going on. There's no excuse for it. That's a reality. We know that. There's no messing around or tiptoeing around that. The Prime Minister came to the House yesterday, the right thing to do, and apologised, absolutely. But he has also said he has an inquiry, and that inquiry will report, I think fairly quickly actually, and that must show everything that's happened and where things went wrong. And if things exist that are not in the public domain, well, we need to know what that is, and then I think everybody will decide what their opinion and their views are on that basis when we see the report, and I think that's only fair. There's no point in having a report if you then prejudge it. Let's wait to see what that has, and people will make their decisions. I've known the Prime Minister for many years. He's a huge political asset to the Conservative Party, but when it comes to government, no matter what, no matter how, it has to be run properly, and this is critically important. So let's see what happens then.
Some of your colleagues have said the Prime Minister isn't performing the way they hoped he would, that he's not on his A game. Do you think he will still be Prime Minister at the time of the next election, leading the Conservative Party into that election?
At present, I have no reason to doubt that. But as I say, there is a report coming out, and everybody should hold their judgment on this until we see what's in the report and where that takes us. That's important. There's no point in having a review, a proper report by an independent, if you don't wait for that to sound, and then you can decide what the position is. But the government has asked us to do that. The Prime Minister yesterday asked us to wait, and he'll be back when that report hits, and then he and others will have to make decisions on that basis. But right now, he is the Prime Minister, he is the government, and he has my full support in that regard.
Iain Duncan Smith, thanks so much for your time. There's a lot going on here, Anita. There was, the questions over the Prime Minister's future, the changes to those self-isolation rules that we've got in Parliament, and now this extraordinary story, MI5 warning about attempts to influence MPs and people around Parliament. There's a lot going on.
I think that is absolutely an understatement, Nick. Thank you very much, Nick Eardley.